Jai Guruji. Anantam Shukrana Guruji for blessing us with this beautiful divine satsang and also blessing us with this privilege of not only listening as well as reading of the Shivpuran. With that, we begin the synopsis for last week. Last week, we read chapter 10 and 11 of the SataRudrasamhita of the volume 3 of the Shivpuran. In this, we read that the story of Sarabha, how demon Hiranyakashipu was killed by the man-lion avatar of Lord Vishnu. The entire universe attained peace and normalcy after that, except for the gods. The gods did not derive any pleasure out of it because of the fiery fury of the man-lion. They tried to subside or subdue the anger of the man-lion by sending Prahlada near Lord Vishnu, but it did not help. Then all the gods, including Brahma, sought refuge in Lord Shiva and requested him to help. Lord Shiva assured them of his protection and requested them to go back to their respective abodes. He then remembered Virabhadra, his own terrible form, and then directed Virabhadra to quell the anger of the man-lion. He told Virabhadra to first attempt in a consoling manner, but if the man-lion did not agree, then show his terrible form. So Virabhadra assumed calm body and features and approached man-lion. Then Virabhadra directed him to subdue his anger by himself in the presence of Virabhadra. Listening to this, the man-lion acted in a very haughty manner. He not only refused, he also told Virabhadra that he was the greatest entity of the universe and asked Virabhadra to seek refuge in him. Listening to this, Virabhadra told the man-lion that Lord Shiva is the greatest entity of the universe and his arrogance and argument could cost him his life. He again told the man-lion to subdue his anger by himself or else death would befall on him. We would read further. We will read chapter 12, that is the incarnation of Sarabha, and chapter 13, the incarnation of Grahapati. Today, Sunita Auntie will be reading these chapters in English. We do not have Hindi readings today, so enjoy the reading. Also, if you want to read the Shivpuran, you could reach out to Seema Auntie, Rashmi Auntie, or me, and we can fix up a reading for you. Jai Guruji, Shukrana Guruji.
Jai Guruji. Shukrana to Guru Sahib for granting me this opportunity. Apologies in advance for any errors and omissions. Chapter 12, the incarnation of Sarabha. Sanat Kumar said, O Nandishwara, O intelligent one, this is understood. Take pity on me and tell me now lovingly what happened hereafter. Nandishwara said, thus admonished by Virabhadra, the man-lion became furious. He roared and began to seize him with force. In the meantime, the splendor of Shiva rose up, unbearably enveloping the sky all around. It was terrible and cause for imminent fear. Then, in a trice, the form of Virabhadra became invisible. The splendor of Lord Shiva was neither golden nor fiery, neither lunar nor solar. It resembled neither the lightning nor the moon. It was beyond comparison. The forms of brilliance were merged in Shiva. That splendor was not of the sky too. Thereafter, its middle became clearly manifested in the form of characteristic of Rudra, of deformed shape. Even as all the gods stood watching with the auspicious shouts of the victory, Lord Shiva became manifest in the form of the annihilator. He had 1,000 hands and wore matted hair. His head was adorned by the crescent moon. He appeared like a bird with wings and a beak. His body was fierce and fully developed. His fangs were very sharp. Adamantine claws were his weapons. His neck was black in color. He had huge arms and 4 legs. He was blazing like fire. His voice was resonant and terrible, like the rumbling sound of the clouds that gather at the end of a yuga. His 3 eyes were as wide and blazing as the fire of the evil spirit of great fury. His fangs and lips were clearly visible. He was producing a hissing sound of Hunkara. Shiva of such a form appeared in sight. At his very vision, Vishnu lost his strength and exploit. He assumed the luster of the flickering glowworm beneath the sun. Fluttering with his wings and tearing the navel and legs, he bound the legs of the man lion with his tail and his hands with his own hands. He struck his chest, caught hold of Vishnu. It expanded in the sky along with the gods and the sages. Like a vulture seizing a serpent, he fearlessly caught hold of Vishnu, lifted him up, and fell him to the ground. At the time of flight, he was excessively oppressed, being hit with the wings. Then Lord Shiva took Vishnu and flew up. All the gods followed him, eulogizing him with the words of obeisance. Brahma and the other sages bowed to him with reverence and love. Being led thus, Vishnu was helpless. His face was pallid and sorrowful. With palms joined in reverence, he eulogized Lord Shiva with prayers of simple words. After eulogizing Mrida with the 108 names of Lord, Narasimha requested Lord Sharabha again. O great Lord, whenever my ignorant mind becomes defiled by arrogance, it shall be removed by you alone. Nandishvara said, thus saying with love to Shiva, the man-lion turned submissive and bowed to him. Vishnu was utterly defeated and came to the end of his life. Within a trice, Virabhadra made his powerful body powerless and dead. Nandishvara said, then Brahma and other gods eulogized Lord Shiva, who had assumed the form of a Sharabha and who was the sole benefactor of all worlds. The gods said, O Lord Shiva, Brahma, Vishnu, Indra, the moon, the gods, the sages, and the Daityas are born of you. O Lord of all, you alone create and protect Brahma, Vishnu, and Indra, the sun and others, the gods and asuras, and you alone devour them. Since you annihilate the world, you are called Hara by the learned. Since Vishnu was curbed and caught hold of by you, you are called Hara by the learned. Since you support and hold everything after dividing your body into 8, O Lord, protect us, the gods, by means of desired gifts. You are the great Purusha, Shiva, Lord of all, leader of the gods, the soul of the indigent, of a mind without aberrations. You are the great Brahman, the goal of the good. You are the kinsman of the distressed, the ocean of mercy, of wonderful sports, the vision of the great soul, the intelligent, the immense cosmic being, the all-pervasive, the truth, the existence, knowledge and bliss as the characteristics. Nandishvara said, on hearing these words of the gods, Shiva the great god spoke to the gods and the great ancient sages. Just as water poured into water, or milk poured into milk, or ghee poured into ghee becomes one with those things, so also Vishnu is merged into Shiva, not otherwise. It was Vishnu alone in the form of the man-lion, haughty and strong, engaged in the activity of annihilating the universe. He shall be prayed and bowed by my devotees aspiring achievements. He is the foremost of my devotees and the granter of boons. Nandishvara said, after saying thus, the lordly king of birds of great strength vanished there itself, even as all the gods were watching. Lord Virabhadra, the leader of the Ganas of great strength, peeled off the hide of the man-lion and went to the mountain, taking it with him. From that time, Shiva began to wear the hide of the man-lion. His head was the leading bead in his necklace of skulls. Then the gods, freed from their distress, began to sing the glory of this story. With their eyes blooming with wonder, they returned the way they came. He who reads or listens to the great narrative, which being sacred as the flavor of the Vedas, will realize all his desires. This narrative is conducive to wealth, fame, longevity, and health. It increases prosperity, subdues obstacles, and quells ailments. It subdues misery, yields the fruits of desires, and is the abode of auspicious features. It removes premature death, confers intelligence, and destroys enemies. This great form of Shiva, in the form of Sharabha, shall be made public only among leading devotees of Shiva. This shall be read and listened to only by them with their soul dedicated to Shiva. It then confers the ninefold devotion. It is divine. It purifies the inner mind and sense. This shall be read during the festivals of Shiva, during the 8th and 14th tithis, and at the installation of the idol. It then causes the presence of Shiva. when there is danger from thieves, tigers, lions, one's own or enemy kings, during commotions, earthquakes, and robberies, dust storms, when there is a fall of meteors, when there is a drought or too much of rain, during these occasions, he who reads this with purity becomes a great devotee of Shiva, steady in his rites and very learned. He who reads or listens to this without any specific desire and performs the rites of Shiva attains Rudra's region and becomes a follower of Rudra. O sage, after attaining Rudra's region, he rejoices with Rudra. Then he becomes one with Rudra by the mercy of Shiva. Chapter 13, the Incarnation of Grihapati. Nandishwara said, O son of Brahma, listen lovingly to the narrative of the moon-crested Lord Shiva, how he was born willingly in the house of Vishwanara. He was Grihapati by name. O sage, he became the lord of Agniloka. The great lord, the soul of all, was fiery in form and brilliant too. On the beautiful banks of the Narmada in the city of Dharmapura, formerly there lived a devotee of Shiva, a soul, the sage Vishwanara. While in the stage of celibacy, he was devoted to Brahma Yagna rites. He belonged to the Shandilya lineage. He was pure, the storehouse of Brahmanical splendor, and had self-control. He understood the real meaning of sacred lord. He followed the conduct of the virtuous. He was highly skilled in Shiva ethics. He was the foremost among the knowers of the worldly conventions. After pondering over the good qualities of an ideal housewife, Vishwanara married with due rights a daughter of Kala who was really worthy of him. He maintained the sacrificial fires. He was devoted to the performance of the 5 daily sacrifices. He practiced the 6 sacred rites every day. He was fond of serving gods, mains, and guests. When a long time elapsed in that manner, Suchismati, the wife of Brahmana, who observed all rites, spoke to her husband. O Lord, by your favor, all pleasures which women could expect have been enjoyed by me in your company. O Lord, still a desire has been lurking in my heart for a long time. It is proper to all householders. You shall grant it to me. Vishwanara said, O gentle lady of beautiful hips, ever desirous of my welfare, what is there that cannot be granted to you? O lucky one, you may ask for it. I shall grant it to you without delay. O good woman, by the favor of Lord Shiva, nothing is inaccessible to me, either here or hereafter. Lord Shiva is the cause of all good. Nandishwara said, on hearing these words of her husband, she who thought her husband to be a deity was delighted. Joining her palms in reverence, she humbly said, Suchismati said, O Lord, if I deserve a boon, if a boon is to be granted to me, please give me a son equal to Lord Shiva. I am not choosing any other boon. Nandishwara said, on hearing her words, that Brahmin of pure rites entered into a mystic trance for a short while and thought in his heart thus, what is this? This lady has wished for an extremely inaccessible thing. It is beyond the reach of wishes. Let it be. Only he does everything. It is by Shiva himself stationing himself in her mouth in the form of speech that this has been said. This alone is possible. Who else could have endeavored to say so? After thinking like this, the sage Vishwanara of liberal heart, who strictly adhered to the principle of monogamy, spoke to her. After consoling his wife, the sage set out for penance to the city of Varanasi, where Lord Shiva himself is stationed. Reaching Varanasi immediately and seeing Manikarnaka, he was freed from 3 distresses acquired in the course of 100 births. He saw Vishveshvara and other phallic images. He performed ablutions in all holy cities, or holy ditches, wells, tanks, and lakes. He bowed to all Vinayakas and Sarva Gauri. He worshipped Kalaraja Bhairava, who devours sins. Strenuously, he eulogized Dandanakya and other Ganas, Adikeshava and others. He propitiated Keshava. He bowed to Lolarka and other sons again and again. Without lethargy, he offered balls of rice in all the holy centers. He satiated sages and Brahmins by means of feeding 1,000 and other rites. With devotion, he propitiated the phallic images of Shiva by means of great worship and service. He thought frequently, what is that phallic image that yields the result quickly? Where can penance due to the longing for a son find ultimate rest? Thinking thus for a moment, the intelligent sage Vishwanara praised the Viresha form of Shiva, which confers the blessings of a son immediately. Innumerable thousands of siddhas have derived the fulfillment of their desire from the worship of Shiva. Hence, Viresha is famous as the fruit-yielding phallic image. If anyone worships the Vireshvara phallic image for a year with great devotion, he obtains longevity, cherished desires, sons, and other things. I too shall worship Viresha here thrice a day and shall ere long acquire a son as desired by my wife. After thinking like this, the intelligent Brahmin, the contented Vishwanara, took a bath in the well Chandrakupa and took the vow of sacred rite. For a month he lived on a single meal a day. For another month he took only the night meal. He spent another month taking only the food he got without begging. He spent another month without any food. For another month he took only milk. For another month he took only fruits and vegetables. For another month he ate only a handful of gingerly seeds. For another month he took liquid diet. For another month he took only panchagavya. For another month he performed the Chandrayana rite. For another month he drank water from the tip of kusha grass. And for another month he had air alone as his food. Thus, for a full year he performed the wonderful penance. He worshipped the excellent Viresha thrice a day. On the 13th month, while he was going to Viresha after taking bath in the Ganga river, very early in the morning, the sage saw a child of 8 years smeared with ashes all over the body in the middle of the phallic image. The child had eyes as long as his ears. He had ruddy lips. He had matted hair of beautiful tawny color. He was naked and had a smiling face. He had all the dress and features proper to a childhood. He seemed intelligent. He was reciting hymns from the Vedas. He was laughing sportively. On seeing him, he was joyous. He was thrilled all over the body. He uttered the formula to you over and over again. The contented Vaishvanara eulogized Shiva, the great, bliss in the form of the child by means of 8 verses that gave expression to his desire. Vishwanara said, "The Brahman is alone without a second. It is true. Indeed, there is no multitude of different things. There is only one Rudra. There is none second to him. Hence I seek refuge in you, the sole great Lord. O Shiva, you alone are the creator and annihilator of everything. In the different forms, you are a single form and formless. Just as the inner virtue is only one, though it may seem to be many. Hence I do not resort to anyone except you. The snake in the rope, the silver in the oyster shell, the water in the mirage, like that when he is known, the whole world vanishes and Sat alone remains. I resort to that great Lord. Coolness in the water, heat in the fire, the scorching nature in the sun, and the pleasing gentleness in the moon, fragrance in the flower, and ghee in the milk. Just in that manner, O Shiva, you are the essence in the world. Hence I resort to you. You the earless perceive sound, you the noseless perceive fragrance, you the footless come from far, you the eyeless see, you the tongueless perceive the taste. Who knows you really? Hence I seek refuge in you. O Lord, even the Vedas do not know you directly, nor Vishnu, nor the creator of everything, nor the leading yogins, nor Indra and other gods. Only a devotee knows. Hence I seek refuge in you. You have no spiritual lineage. You are unborn. You are immortal, formless, without any prescribed conduct or native land. Still, you are the Lord of 3 worlds, and you fulfill all our desires. I worship you. Everything originates from you. You are all in all. O enemy of Kama, you are the Lord of Gauri. You are naked and quiescent. You are old, youthful, and the child. Whatever is, you are that. There is no source of your origin. I bow to you. Nandishvara said, after eulogizing thus, when the Brahmin fell on the ground with joined hands, the boy became the aged of the aged and spoke delightedly to the Brahmin. The boy said, O Vishwanara, O excellent sage, O Brahmin, propitiated by you, I am much delighted. Ask for the boon of your choice. Then the delighted and contented sage Vishwanara stood up and replied to Shiva, who had assumed the form of a boy. Vishwanara said, O Lord Shiva, what is it that is not known to you who are omniscient? You are Lord Sarva, the granter of everything and the immanent soul of all. Why do you speak, forcing me in the pity-provoking task of imploration? O Lord Shiva, after knowing this, please do as you wish. Nandishwara said, on hearing the upright words of Vishwanara, of pure rights, the Lord, in the form of a child, spoke smilingly. O pious one, the desire you have cherished in your heart regarding Suchismati will be certainly realized ere long. O intelligent one, I shall become your son in Suchismati. I shall be known as Grihapati, pure and loved by all. The hymn of the 8 verses of desire, Abhilakshakta, that you recited now, when recited thrice a day for a year in the vicinity of Shiva, will yield all desires. The recitation of this hymn yields sons, grandsons, and wealth. It is conducive to the mollification of everything and quells all mishaps. It is the cause of acquisition of heaven, emancipation, and prosperity. There is no doubt in this. This is on par with all other hymns. It always yields every desire. If an issueless man gets up early in the morning, takes his bath, worships Shiva's phallic image, recites this hymn and continues the practice for a year, he will surely secure a son. The Abhilakshaktaka hymn shall not be taught to common people. It shall be preserved carefully as a secret mantra. It makes the most barren lady deliver of a child. This hymn, recited by a woman or a man with due observances in the presence of a phallic image for a year, undoubtedly yields the birth of a son. Nandishwara said, after saying this, Shiva, the goal of the good and who assumed the form of a boy, vanished. The Brahmin, Vishwanara, returned to his house highly delighted. That concludes today's reading. Jai Guruji.